Hi everybody, this is a video to show you how to take through Design Space the two new SVGs that you get to cut this box, which holds a stemless wine glass and a mini bottle of wine. You get two versions in the SVG bundle. You get a version which cuts in fewer, longer pieces that you need the long mat and A3 or tabloid card for. But to help out those who haven't got a long mat or can't get hold of the longer card, I've also created an SVG with more pieces. So you've got a little bit more work to do in joining them together, but you can cut it all, this particular one anyway, from A4 or 12 by 12 using the standard mat. Okay, so let's find Design Space and we'll start a new project. So I'll bring in the slightly simpler one, which is the one that's cut on the long mat from fewer pieces. Is it that one? Yeah, it's this one. I've got a lot of boxes that look similar at the moment, so I didn't want to pick the wrong one. Alright, so the first thing to do, as usual, with any multi-part SVG that has score lines, is you've got to convert those lines that come in as cuts to scores. We can't make them come in as scores already, unfortunately. You've just got to do that yourself when they come in. But to make it as simple as possible, my SVGs are saved in three groups. So there's the overall group that contains everything, and then there's a subgroup that contains everything that needs converting to scores, and then a subgroup which has all the cut pieces in it. So we're just going to select that first subgroup, then just by clicking the name of it, which is the second line down in your layers panel. I'm working on the desktop version for PC of Design Space. Then you go over to your operations menu, click on basic cut and choose score from the drop down menu, and you can see that all those lines have been converted to scores as they should be now, and while they're still selected you need to ungroup them, and on the desktop version ungroup is at the top of the layers panel. Second step is to select that second subgroup that has all the cut pieces in it, and all we need to do there is ungroup it. And the third step is to select absolutely everything on screen, which you can do just by clicking on that remaining group, or you can Control A on your keyboard, or you can use this little select all button in the menu bar. However you do it, once it's selected, ungroup a third time. So 3 ungroups, ideally in that order: scores, cut pieces, and the whole SVG. Right, so now everything on screen is an individual piece, and we can do the attachment of scores to the individual pieces. You've got to do it piece by piece. If you select everything and attach, you'll end up with a project which is too big to cut, and you'll get an error message from Design Space. So I think the quickest way to select a single piece is just to click on screen somewhere near it, drag a box to more or less enclose it. You don't need to go all the way around, and then choose attach, which on my version is at the bottom of the layers panel. And you need to do that for each piece on screen that has score lines, and that's everything in this SVG apart from the little piece of acetate for the window. You do get a PDF of very comprehensive assembly instructions to help you put this box together, so you don't need to remember anything that I say now or take notes, because it's all covered in the PDF that you get. Right, so everything is attached and ungrouped, and we'll click make it and see what we're left with. So this is the long mat project, so I'm going to choose A3, and if we look at that now we can see that we need 4 sheets of A3, and then this is the tiny piece of PVC or acetate that we would use. They usually come in A4 or letter sized sheets, so I'm just going to choose A4 there. So this long box, you need 3 sheets of, pardon me, 4 sheets of A3 and half a sheet of acetate. Let's just see what happens if we choose tabloid. It doesn't change anything. I was wondering if, yeah, it wouldn't do because tabloid's narrower, isn't it? It's longer than A3, but it's narrower, so things have just moved around slightly. Oh, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. You still need 4. So A3 or tabloid, 4 sheets, and then that half a sheet of acetate. Right, So that is the long version. I'm not going to cut it now, so I'll just delete that. And now I'll upload the standard matte version. I've named the SVGs long version, standard version. I mean matte. I couldn't think of a better way to describe it without having too many words in the title. Okay, so I'll just zoom out a bit so we can see it all. So we're going to follow exactly the same procedure for this one. There are lots of pieces in this. We've got another 4 pieces, haven't we? Because we've split all these into 2 pieces now. So there's a lot in your layers panel, but it's still in those 2 subgroups. So all you need to do is select that first subgroup, second line down in your layers panel. Go over to your operations menu and choose score from the drop down menu, and while they're still selected, ungroup. Second step, just click on the name of that second subgroup. It selects everything within it, and all we need to do there is ungroup. And finally, select everything on screen any way you want to do it and ungroup a 3rd time. So now we can do the attaching of the scores. So again, you're just going to click on canvas near a piece, drag a box to more or less enclose it, and attach. And if you're on PC like I am, you can do Alt A and it's a little bit quicker. Brilliant. So just the same. Did I attach that? I did. Now we can click make it, and before we do that, I just want to show you these pieces here because I'm not sure whether... Actually, let's just try it. Sometimes, even though it will... Oh, what did I miss? What attachment did I miss there? Not that one. That one. I didn't do those little bits. Or that one. I think that's everything though now. Try again. Yeah, right. So the whole point of this multi-piece version is that you can hopefully cut it from A4. So let's say A4 and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one piece it's saying won't fit on A4. I bet it's that one. Yeah, it is. This piece, it's the top insert with the long walls. It's 201 millimeters wide. Well, I mean deep if we look at it that way, but if we turn it round, it's 201 millimeters wide, which yeah, Design Space is going to tell you won't cut from A4, but it absolutely will. It's well within the length of an A4, and you've got 9 millimeters to play with, so it absolutely will. So just because we're going to have to choose a different mat for that one, I'm just going to select it and change the colour of it, and then that you'll see what I do now. So we can still choose A4 for everything else, and you can see that everything has gone on to A4 apart from this last one, which we're going to have to choose 12 by 12 for. But trust me, if you place a piece of A4 onto your standard mat and just drop it down from that first white line on your mat by a couple of millimeters, it will easily cut from A4. If you're a bit worried about it, then cut it from 12 by 12, but I promise you it will cut from A4. So you can see that if you did, you would need 8 sheets of A4 and 1 sheet of acetate to cut that. Let's see what happens. I'm going to put that back to that colour. Let's see what happens if we choose 12 by 12, which I know a lot of you will be using. Yes, no issues at all with the fit, and I think we can even... This is the tiny piece that attaches to the base. Again, don't worry, all this is covered in your instructions. You don't need to remember any of this. I'm just showing you how you can fit it on fewer mats. If you just take that one and rotate it like that, it slots nicely onto that mat there, and so therefore you would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets of 12 by 12, and again that little half sheet of acetate for the window if indeed you decide to use it. But I do think they look quite nice with an acetate window on. Okay, I'm not going to cut that, so I'll press cancel. And that's that. If you've got any questions at all when you come to cut it or assemble it, please don't hesitate to get in touch. The links to do that are in the description below, and if you've just stumbled across this video and you'd like to buy the SVG, then the link to do that is also in the description below. Thanks a lot. Bye.